All right, guys, so in this video, I'm going to show you basically how to know if you're going to be profitable or at least estimate the profit for your first FBA product, right? How much demand, how many sales are you going to make? What are all the expenses, every single expense associated, right? So nothing's left out. You have an extremely accurate and realistic estimate of how much money you could make or potentially lose, which is, very important to do. Either way, it's very important to do before you purchase anything, any amount of product from your supplier. All right, so this can be done right at the kind of end of your product research phase, before you even reach out to suppliers, and then it should be revisited when you, before you hit send, right before you actually do any kind of payment or buy any kind of product through your supplier. Okay, super important. And luckily, and I've actually included this calculator for free for download below, so you can go ahead and download this. If there's any issue, let me know. I'm in the Facebook group, and I'll get a link to you or get this document to you as soon as possible. Super powerful, very simple to use. Basically, you see these orange or peach kind of highlighted cells here. You basically just enter in the information that you know, and you should know all this information, right? And if you don't know it at this specific point, make sure that you find out, okay? And you'll basically go through this sheet and be like, oh, I forgot about this cost. Oh, good thing I'm calculating this. It'll be extremely eye-opening, very helpful. Oh my gosh, it's so important. And I've seen so many sellers just neglect this. You need to know how much profit you're going to be making, right? That is all that matters. It doesn't even matter how much revenue you make. Profit at the end of the day is all that matters, and you need to know that. You basically need to know what are your sales going to be, and at least estimate them. What are your expenses going to be, and you definitely know what your expenses are going to be. And then there you have a very good estimate of what profit you can make, all right? So you'll just go through, and I'll go through the sheet now, but basically go through and enter into these cells the correct information for your specific product. If you don't know the information, make sure that you find out. It is not okay to not figure out this information beforehand, or at least have an estimate. So I'll go through this now. All right, so number one, we'll start here in the top left and kind of make our way over to the right here. So product, you'll insert your product name here. What price are you going to sell at? And you can, this could be the initial price that you set out. Maybe you're going to kind of come a little bit below your competitor, or maybe, hey, I want to be the premium brand and I feel that I could, justify a price point, this much more at this price point, above my competition. Again, completely up to you. There's no one who can give you the right answer. The reality is you have to test the market first to ever know. That's true with anything. But whatever your best guess is, or I should say your best estimate is, for what your price point is going to be, whether it's going to be a little bit below your competitor by $1 or $2, or if you're going to be the premium brand, have the best product, and actually, you actually differentiated besides your images and all that, then you may charge a higher price point. So your price point, your cost per unit. So how much does it cost to produce each unit, right? Which you can obviously, you'll know, right, from your negotiation with your supplier. How many units are you ordering for your first kind of order? I just put 1,000. But again, this is totally made up. This is not, do not rely on these numbers. Do not compare. Don't be like, wait, but I'm only ordering like 500 or 750 or whatever it is. Or I'm going to order 2,000. Whatever your order is, right? Don't compare it to these numbers. I totally made these up. So let's just say 1,000. For product inserts, right? Kind of like thank you cards or some kind of product insert, maybe a parametric QR code product insert, which I talk about in other videos. Whatever your supplier quotes that at, we'll say $100. Shipping costs, totally made this up, $2,000. What are your total kind of shipping costs? And then again, all these, right? Total cost, your PayPal fee, all this other data around here is going to be updated. And I'll just let's make this 30. So we'll say, let's say it's like 28. Say it's $28, you can see some of the information's been updated. Let's say we order 750, right? So as you can see, the sheet automatically kind of auto-populates and updates, which is really great. It makes this very simple for us that are not as analytically or mathematically minded. And also, make sure that we are putting in all of the costs and all of the necessary data. This is extremely complete and just kind of simplifies everything. It's awesome. I use it for all my products. Then over here, we want to enter in our fulfillment fee, which again, you can calculate using the Amazon calculator that I spoke about in other videos. I'll have a link to that as well below. So your fulfillment calculator, labeling and customization per unit, storage cost per unit, Again, storage cost, that is with Amazon, and then labeling or customization. Additional kind of custom, labeling, the custom packaging with your supplier, the additional cost per unit, that automatically populates over here. Then we head down here to, well, let's look at estimated monthly sales first. So kind of left and then going over here to the right. Let's say estimated monthly sales 550. I'm making that up. And again, how you would calculate monthly sales or estimate demand would be from using, like I've shown you before, using a variety of tools like Viral Launch. Viral Launch is a great, fantastic tool, which again, I use and recommend. And then I also recommend, also using eGrow's free trial, AMZ Scout's free trial, Helium 10's free trial, and then or also, which would be great if you did, this is only going to help you, trade membership or pay for membership temporarily for Helium 10 and or Jungle Scout subscription. And basically what I do, and again, there's no right or wrong, and I've actually kind of tracked the results of this, and it varies depending on the product, but the best method that I found is to average all of the results. It's going to give you the best estimate for monthly sales. And again, make sure, are you going into a more high demand month, into a more low demand month? Every product has some seasonality. It's not going to be perfectly, boom, we're going to sell each of these like clockwork every single day, at least not in general, not in my experience, and not with any other seller that I've spoke with. There is some seasonality to every product, so keep that in mind. And again, getting close is good enough. You'll never be perfect, and striving to get all this perfect will never work. Put the time in, put the work in, make it as accurate as possible, but just keep in mind, you'll never have the perfect answer. None of us do. There's always, to be honest, there's always going to be a risk associated with FBA, and with any business venture, there's even a risk going to work every day, right? That something could happen. So, nothing's ever perfect. Nothing's ever known. You'll never know 100%. But close is better than nothing, and this, how I've used it, especially after my experience, I've got very close to my actual profit using this calculator. Okay, so estimated monthly sales, research tools, and your seller account. So if it's $50 and you just paid for the first month and then cancel the membership, with Viral Launch, which I guess you'd spend less than $50 if you use the coupon code that I have also below. Then also the Amazon seller account, PPC ads. I'll get to this one in a second. Let me just get to that one in a second. Your photos and video, I would just recommend starting off to do photos. But if you want to kind of create your own video, maybe for Facebook advertising or to include in your listing when you get brand registered, and you want to max out, make sure you include that in there. But starting off with photos is just fine. Launch service and giveaways. Again, the more competitive, the more giveaways you're going to need to do, which I talk about in other videos, so you can kind of relate to those videos and then be able to calculate that here. The less competitive, the less giveaways, and sometimes you don't even need to do any giveaways. And really, the reality is you never need to do giveaways, but this could be, launch service, giveaways, Instagram influencers or YouTube influencers, Facebook ads, things that I talk about in other videos, just basically budgeting towards your product launch. Okay, you have to launch your product. That's inevitable. And the way that you do that, that'll be kind of up to you, and it really depends on your circumstance. But again, I'll show you a few different methods and kind of simplify and hopefully help you decide which is the best for your product. Okay, so just budget for that. Again, totally made up that number. So when you ordered your sample, we're going to include that in here as well, because that is part of our cost. So how much did it cost when you ordered your sample? If you had a personal one-on-one mentor, if you purchased, an awesome course like this course or my course, then you would include that in here. The inspection fee, so the inspection service that you hired, $300. Design work, any kind of additional design work, graphic design, or anything like that you had. Enter all that in there. And yes, it seems like a little bit, a lot, but what's great is, you have the answer to most of these right off your head. Some will take some time. I know, like estimated monthly sales might take a little time to figure out. You'll know pretty much all of this. And then another thing that'll take a little bit of time to figure out, and this is kind of the biggest, it's something that a lot of people don't calculate just because it's difficult to figure out, and a lot of kind of gurus, I guess, don't mention it. It's very important. But yeah, your pay-per-click advertising cost, okay? So you don't actually have to do any PPC ever. However, I highly recommend it. And I'm currently testing and will be going over my specific strategies of what actually works and what I believe you should do, or what I'd recommend doing when you start off. You don't have to, but it's basically, if you don't run PPC ads, you're kind of missing out on potential sales that you wouldn't have got otherwise. So again, you don't have to, and there are sellers who don't do any kind of PPC ads. However, I do personally. I've got great results with that from both the sales itself, and then it also helps me actually rank. So super powerful. I personally budget at least $2,000 per month for my advertising, which is why I put it in here. However, it is going to completely depend on your product, your category, the industry you're going in. It is the hardest thing to calculate, in my opinion. And what I've done is I've actually included a link below to an article that really will help you kind of understand how much to budget toward PPC advertising. It's an article by Jungle Scout. I've included the link below, and that's really going to help you. But again, I do at least $2,000 per month, which some people are like, oh my gosh, that's insane. You're crazy. Like, that's way too much. Most sellers, at least new sellers, do not. A lot of top veteran sellers, not saying that I am that, but a lot of top veteran sellers that I've spoke with, that I've interviewed, networked with at conferences, they'll spend a good amount. There are certain, and this is a per product, but I know personally sellers who spend about $35,000 per month for all their products, okay, for their business, and they have much larger business than what we're doing, but $35,000 a month on PPC alone. They have a Facebook ad budget and Google ad budget and all these other kind of advertising. Not something to freak out about. Don't worry about it, right? And the reason they're doing that is because they're profitable, but it's something you definitely want to calculate, right? And this entire section gets left out by so many sellers, and I'm one of the only people that's talking about this because, profit is calculated after all expenses, right? You have to calculate all your expenses. So how can you know your profit if you don't know all your expenses? So that's why I wrote out everything here. Seems a little bit complicated maybe, or seems like it's a lot of work. Regardless if it's a lot of work or not, it's very important. Number two, very, very complete and accurate. Okay, so you fill in all the kind of orange or peach little cells here, and then you'll ultimately know, some different data here to automatically calculate your profit margin, your ROI, your first month's profit. So let's just say after your first month, it's $500, and then your following month, you'll make $3,500. Again, totally made up. Do not expect this. It totally depends on your product. But yeah, everything, your profit per unit, all that, good stuff, the break-even price. So you need to make sure that you're selling at least $17.84, or more to be able to break even, or at least your costs. If you're advertising, then your advertising costs have to be at or below, it has to be below $17.84 to make money, $17.84 to break even. Okay, so yeah, all the other info here, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, really simplifies everything, makes everything very complete and organized. So I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, be sure to give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below, because I have a lot of great videos just like this and many more currently on my channel, and a lot more coming to you very soon. And I want to make sure you don't miss out. If you have any questions about this, about profitability, this is so, so, so important. Be sure to leave those questions in the comments below here on YouTube, or join our Facebook group, post in the group, and I will get back to you personally, or another seller will get back to you as soon as we can. We honestly want to help you. And again, this is a super important point. You want to make sure that you calculate all this out. And when you do, you'll be fine. And this will honestly put you ahead of so many other sellers. It'll make you so much more prepared. And yeah, so I hope you found it helpful. As always, thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.